My name is Eliza, and I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who'd even think about stepping out of her marriage. I loved my husband, Darren, with all my heart. We were married for 5 years, no kids, just plans, dreams, and a little townhouse we called home. Everything changed when Darren's company offered him a 6-month assignment overseas. The money was good, and it would set us up for the baby we'd been trying for the past 2 years. But his absence, it did something to me.
To us.
At first, we talked every night. Long calls, sweet words, promises of a future. But weeks passed, and the calls got shorter. The time zones made things difficult. He was busy, I was lonely. It started with missed calls, then unread texts, until his voice became something I missed more than I could admit. That's when Logan started coming around more often. Logan was Darren's best friend since college. He was charming, funny, and had this effortless way of making everyone feel comfortable. When Darren left, Logan promised he'd keep an eye on me. I laughed it off. Darren trusted him, so I did too. He started dropping by to check if I needed anything, repairs, groceries, even just company. It was innocent at first. He'd bring takeout, we'd watch movies, talk about random things. I didn't realize how much I looked forward to his visits until I caught myself fixing my hair before he arrived. One rainy evening, the power went out. Logan came over with candles and pizza, joking that he was my knight in shining armor. We sat close, the flickering candlelight painting shadows on the walls. There was something electric in the air that night. He looked at me differently.
And
I didn't look away, but I told myself it was just loneliness playing tricks. A week later, Logan showed up while I was fixing a leaky faucet in the kitchen. I was soaked, frustrated, and holding back tears. He stepped in, fixed it within minutes, and then, without warning, wrapped a towel around my shoulders and held me. I should have pulled away. I didn't. Instead, I leaned in. It was just a hug, but it felt like more. I was crossing a line, and I knew it. The next day, I avoided him, ignored his texts. Guilt wrapped around me like a second skin. Darren had been distant, sure, but he was still my husband. And Logan? He was off limits. But then came the night everything spiraled. It was late. I couldn't sleep. I was restless, pacing, missing Darren more than ever. I texted him, "I miss you." No reply. 10 minutes later, Logan knocked on the door. "I saw your light was on," he said. "You okay?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to say I'm falling apart. But instead, I just nodded. He stepped in, and without saying a word, he pulled me into his arms. It wasn't gentle this time. It was desperate, full of tension that had been building for weeks. Our lips met before I could think. Before I could stop myself. I slept with Logan that night. I wish I could say I regretted it instantly. I didn't. In that moment, it felt like I was finally seen, wanted, held in a way I hadn't felt in months. But by morning, reality hit like a truck. Logan was in my bed. My husband was thousands of miles away. And I was someone I didn't recognize anymore. The morning after was quiet. Too quiet. I didn't even hear the birds like I usually did. Just the dull thump of my own guilt pulsing in my chest. Logan was still asleep when I got out of bed, pulled on Darren's old hoodie, and stood in the kitchen staring at the coffee maker like it might somehow give me answers. I kept hearing Darren's voice in my head. His laugh. The way he'd hug me from behind when I made breakfast. My stomach turned. Logan walked in shirtless, rubbing his eyes, acting like this was just another morning. But for me, it felt like the end of everything. "I should go," he said, sensing my silence. I didn't stop him. After he left, I showered and sat on the bathroom floor in a towel, shaking. I didn't cry. I couldn't. The shame was too thick. I didn't even know what I was anymore. A cheater? A woman who betrayed her own marriage? And with his best friend? For a few days, I ghosted Logan completely. He texted a few times, even called, but I ignored everything. I tried to focus on cleaning the house, going for walks, pretending none of it happened. But denial only works until reality knocks again. And reality came with a wave of nausea. At first, I thought it was stress. Maybe guilt had me sick. But when I couldn't keep food down for 2 days straight, A dark fear started creeping in. My period was late too. No, no, it couldn't be. I rushed to the pharmacy, hands trembling the whole time. I bought 2 tests just to be sure. I didn't even wait to get home. I used the restroom there. Both tests blinked the same message at me. Pregnant. My heart dropped into my stomach. I sat there for 10 full minutes, tests in hand, staring at the tiled wall like it might explain how my life had just exploded. I was pregnant, and there was no way it could be Darren's. He'd been gone for months. The worst part? A tiny, twisted part of me wasn't just afraid. It was weirdly calm. Like some part of me had known this would happen. Maybe not consciously, but somewhere deep down, I had crossed a line knowing damn well what could come of it. Logan deserved to know. But how? What do you even say to a man you betrayed your husband with, now carrying his child? I invited him over that evening. When he walked in, he looked unsure, hesitant. But the moment he saw my face, he sat down without a word. "I'm pregnant," I blurted out. No soft entry. No sugarcoating. He froze. "You're sure?" I nodded. Took 2 tests. He leaned back, rubbing his jaw, staring at the floor. "Is it?" "Who else could it be, Logan?" I snapped, instantly regretting the harshness. "I didn't mean it like that," he said quietly. I wasn't ready for this." Neither was I. For a moment, silence wrapped around us. Then he looked up. "What are you going to do?" The question I'd been avoiding. What was I going to do? "I don't know," I whispered. "Darren doesn't even know that anything happened. He's still overseas. He's coming back in 3 weeks." We both knew what that meant. The clock was ticking. "I'll help," Logan said suddenly. "Whatever you decide, I'm here." His voice was soft, sincere. But I couldn't look at him. Not because I didn't believe him, but because a part of me hated that I wanted him to say that. I spent the next few days in limbo. I would touch my belly at night and cry myself to sleep. I had created a life inside me, something Darren and I had prayed for. But now it was from someone else. Someone I shouldn't have ever touched. When Darren called that weekend, I could barely speak. His voice felt foreign, distant. He told me how excited he was to come home, how he missed me, how he wanted to start trying again the moment he landed. I almost told him everything right then. But I couldn't. Not yet. The next time I saw Logan, he brought a small stuffed bunny and placed it gently on the table. "I know it's early," he said, "but I just wanted to give this to you." To us. To them. I looked at him, really looked, and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Not because of what we'd done, but because he cared. Because he wanted to be there. And that scared me even more. 3 weeks passed like a slow-burning nightmare. I tried to hide my condition, loose clothes, forced smiles, avoiding mirrors. Each passing day reminded me that the truth was catching up, and fast. Darren was coming back. I cleaned the house, changed the sheets, stocked the fridge with his favorites. I wanted everything to feel normal, even though nothing was. Not inside me. Not around me. When Darren walked through the door, he looked tired but happy. There was love in his eyes, that familiar warmth I had missed so desperately. He pulled me into a hug, kissed my forehead, held me for what felt like forever. "God, I missed you," he said. I smiled, but it didn't reach my heart. That night, as we lay in bed, I stayed silent. My mind ran wild. How do you tell the man you love that you're carrying another man's child, his best friend's child? The next morning, over breakfast, he stared at me for a few seconds before saying, "You look different." Glowing, actually. I froze. "Just happy you're home," I lied. But he wasn't fooled. Later that day, while we were cleaning up the kitchen, he asked casually, "Did you take a pregnancy test while I was gone?" The question made my heart drop. What? Why? I don't know. Just a feeling. And I know we weren't really trying anymore, but something's different. I turned away, clutching the counter. My fingers were trembling. That was the moment. No more hiding. "Darren," I began, "I need to tell you something. And it's going to hurt." He stopped what he was doing. His whole body tensed. "I'm pregnant," I said. But it's not yours. He stared at me, frozen. What do you mean? His voice was sharp, strained. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. I was lonely. I was broken. And Logan was there. He looked like he'd been slapped. Logan, he said, disbelief in every syllable. My best friend. I couldn't speak. Tears streamed down my face. You slept with Logan? He asked again, louder now, his voice cracking. I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't plan it. But you let it happen, he snapped. And now you're carrying his child? The silence that followed was louder than any scream. He stormed out of the kitchen without another word. That night, he didn't come home. The next day, I told Logan what happened. That Darren knew everything. Is he okay? Logan asked, his face pale.
No.
And I don't know if he ever will be. Logan sat on the edge of the couch, quiet, as if waiting for me to tell him what to do next. I'm not ready for anything, I told him. I don't even know who I am anymore. Days turned to weeks. Darren returned once, just to gather some of his clothes. He looked at me with a pain I had never seen in his eyes before. I need space, he said. I don't hate you, but I don't know if I can ever forgive you. I just nodded. There was nothing else to say. As the months passed, my belly grew. Every kick, every flutter inside reminded me of what I had done and what I had created. A child. A life. Something innocent and beautiful born from my biggest mistake. Logan came by occasionally. He never pushed. Just sat beside me, sometimes bringing small things, a baby blanket, a stuffed animal, prenatal vitamins. He was trying. I could see that. And part of me wanted to believe he'd be a good father. But I wasn't ready to love him. Not like that. Not yet. One evening, I sat alone in the nursery I'd started decorating. A tiny crib stood in the corner. Soft yellow walls. Quiet music playing from a speaker. My hand rested on my stomach. I whispered, I don't know what the future holds, but I promise I'll love you. Always. A few days before the due date, Darren called. I've thought about everything, he said. And I still don't know where I stand with you. But I want to be there for the baby. If you'll let me. My voice trembled. You'd be a great father, even if not in the way we imagined. Narration style and note. Sometimes life breaks you in the most unexpected ways, only to build something stronger from the pieces. I made a mistake, yes. But in the middle of the wreckage, I found someone worth everything. A child. A chance. A beginning.